Good morning, teacher. My name is Joel Bejarano from the third E. The Giver. It was a long December, and Jonas was beginning to be frightened. No, one word, Jonas. To frightened meant that deep, a spent feeling of something terrible about to happen. Friend was the way he had felt a year ago when an unity and craft had overflowed. To communicate days. He had seen it both times, skidding to where the ski. He had seen the slick jack, a lops of blow at his hing speed, go past, and second later heard the blows of south that followed. That one more time a moment later, from the opposite direction, the same plane. At first, he had been always fascinated. He had never seen a craft so close. For it was against the rules for pilots to wait over the communication. Occasionally, when supplies were unloaded by cargo planes to the leading flying across the river. The children rode their bicycles to the riverbank and watched the unloading and then the taking off direct to the west, always away from the community. But the aircraft a year ago had been different. It was not a squat, fat-bellied cargo plane but a net-nosed, single-pilot head. Jonas, looking around, had the others, adults and well as children, stop what they were doing and what confused for the explains of the fitting event. Then all of the cities have been ordained to go into to bowling and stay there. Immediately, the restaurant bows to run and skaters had said, Lever ego bicyclettes her the air. Instantly obediently Jonas had dropped his bike on its seat and the pine behind his family. He had run indoors and stayed there alone. His parents were both and word, and his little sister, Lily, has a child care center where she spent her after school hours. Looking through the front window, he had seen no people, none of the busy afternoon crowd and street cleaners, namesake workers, and food delivery people who usually populate the community at that time of day. He shook all day and abounded kicks here and there on their seats. He had been finding 10 cents on hits on communicating silence waiting had made, but it had been nothing. 10 minutes the stair had clackered again, and the voice, rising now and less urgent, had explained that pilot in train had missile has navigation introduction and made a work through. Desperately the pilot had been trying to make his wall bang before his error was noticed. The voice had said, flow with big silence. There was ironic tone to that final message. And if the spirit found in the amazing, and Jonathan smiled at the tone, he claimed, what a grind it had been, has contributed to be released from the community was a final decision, a terrible and overheated statement of for heaven the children were scolded if they used the drink at play. Herring and the who missed a catch in race. Jonas had done it once, had shot at his big friend, that is, Asher. You realized him Asher Creed Error had lost a match from his team. He had been taken aside from a big and serious talk by the coach. Had hung his head with him embarrassment and to Asher after the game. No, think about feeling unfair as politic how about the river pond. Here, remember that moment on purple. The smash terror came aircraft had struck above. It was not what he had feeling nothing December approached. He reached from a raging world and described his own feeling. Jonas was careful about language, not like his friend Asher, who talked too fast and mixed things up. Words and parrots until they heard variedly and often very fun. Jonas grinned. Remember, the morning tact. Asher was dashed, and the classroom, late as usual, arriving in the middle of the chatting of morning when the class closed their same and conclusion the patriotic hymn, remaining standing to make as public was required. I apologize for inconveniencing my leader communicating as I ran through and started apologetic. The instructor and class waited patiently for his application. The students had begun because they had listened to Ezra's explanation so many times before. He left home at the correction time band here. I was reading. I love new and captured. The crew was shepherding some salmon. I had just ghost waiting time. A prolonged to classmate Asher concluded. He smoothed his rumpled toes and sat down. We accept your apology, Asher. The class received the standard response and many of the students were biting their lips to keep from laughing. I accept for apology, Asher, the instructor said. He has a link, and I talk about because and again you have provided an opportunity for a lesson in language. I too strong an adjective to drive salmon. He turned and wrote on the instructor board. Jonas, rearing his home new, slumped under recollection. Ski, and he knew he biked at narrow port, deserted the door. He relationed that friend has the word to describe his feelings. Not that December has most here. It has too strong adjective. He had waited a long time for time special December. New times, it was almost hint. He has think, but has worse. Teddy said he was from it to come, and he is excited. All the 11s were excited about the event that would be coming so soon. But there has little shuddered and nervous with him too about it, about that being happen. Who wants to be friends tonic? Fair feelings. Jonas' father came at the conclusion of their evening meal. It was one of the routines, the evening telling of sometimes Jonas and his sister Lily over Tom's, over who would get to go friends. The parents, of course, were part of the ritual. They know told their feelings age event. Both like a parent and adults they didn't think and for them true. Nor did Jonas Tonic. His feelings were to complicate the evening. He wanted to share them about the hasn't and to beginning the process and sitting through. His complicated emotion at why the help that he knew his parent club gave. You go, Lily, he said, selling his sister, who was much younger, only on 7. Gogly with impatience in her chair, a friend every eagerly, this afternoon. Lily abound. No, Grove was at the play area, and we had a visiting ground of 7, and they didn't obey the rules at all. One of them, a meal. I don't can knew his name. Gone reaching to the front of the line for silk. Even though unreasoned on where he waiting. He felt so angry at him. I made him into a friend like this. The help clenched Fritz and the rest of the family smiled and her small defiant gesture. Why do you think the visitors didn't about the rules? Lily considered and shook his head. I don't know that and like animals. Jonas suggested and looked. That's ring. Lily's eyes looming too, like animals. Children what the word meat exactly, but is one often used to describe someone or clumps, someone who didn't fit. Jonas smiled back at her sister. Lily's feelings were always straightforward, very simple, usually easy to resolve. He wished that his own had been, too, when he was a 7, to note very attentively. Will has father to his room, describing a feeling of worth had that died a word. A concert about one of the new children who weren't doing well. Jonas' father's letter was neuter. He had two other nuns were responsible for all the physical and emotional news of a new child during his life. It was a very important job, Jonas knew, but it hasn't on that interesting him much.